Coming up on MUFON Television and Amazon Prime, Ron James drops a new episode of Bigger Questions with Rey Hernandez, founder of the Dr. Edgar Mitchell Foundation for Research into Extrahuman Encounters. Could it be that the phenomenon of near-death experience, alien encounters, and even profound spiritual awakenings are all connected? We're talking about it.
Hi, I'm Ron James, and this is another special edition of Bigger Questions. I'm here with Rey Hernandez, the founder of FREE. And Rey, so I don't mess this up, tell us what FREE stands for, because it's changed a couple times over the years.
It's the Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial and Extraordinary Experiences, otherwise known as the Dr. Edgar Mitchell FREE Foundation.
Now, what you guys are doing is some really groundbreaking work in studying the correlations between different types of experiencers and the common ground that they all find. And this is something that is an emerging understanding in the experiencer phenomenon, and you guys are right at the forefront of it.
Approximately half of the members of our board and advisors are PhD academics. We also work very closely with researchers of what we call the contact modalities. These are UFO researchers, near-death experience researchers, out-of-body experiencers, remote viewing, channeling, people that communicate with ghosts and spirits. And we see all of these, what we call contact modalities, which are the different ways that humans are piercing the veil and having contact with non-human intelligence, as quite possibly coming from one source.
What we have emerging now is this idea that the mechanisms behind these experiences, be it a near-death experience or be it an alien abduction or a spiritually transformative experience, the mechanisms that make these events possible may be a lot more closely correlated than previously thought.
So instead of studying them in a stovepipe fashion, we need to be able to begin to study them as possibly one comprehensive phenomenon that's unified under space-time.
So what you're saying is that the phenomenon that we're talking about actually play a key role in our understanding about the very nature of reality. It's really kind of going in that direction.
Correct. The fundamental concept here is that this all involves consciousness, which is how we as humans interact with the very fabric of our reality, which is essentially a multidimensional reality. And within this multidimensional construct of information fields of our reality, individuals are having experiences, paranormal experiences, diverse paranormal experiences. And what we're saying is that there's a commonality that is shared among these different experiencers. More than 20 different commonalities that are shared between NDE experiencers and with UFO contact experiencers. So this research needs to continue and move forward under this new paradigm that consciousness is the primacy, is the key to be able to understand the complexities of the contact phenomenon. We need to be able to get outside of the materialist mainstream mindset and start focusing more on consciousness, the multiverse, and the paranormal. That this is the way to be able to begin to get a better understanding of this extremely complex phenomenon. We all know that this phenomenon is both physical and psychic and paranormal. It's these two components, and that's what makes it so perplexing because it's a combination of both. You know, people are physically seeing these different types of intelligence. People are physically seeing what is commonly called the UFO, and we prefer the term unidentified aerial phenomenon because it's not just crafts. The vast majority are not just crafts. The vast majority are different types of objects that are seen in the sky, whether it's orbs or different structures that people see out in the sky. So it's both physical and the non-physical aspects.
So when people kind of feel that this new way of looking at this whole situation that's gaining more attention kind of excludes their previous conceptions or their previous belief systems, that's not really what's happening.
No.
We're adding another layer, and you know, like you said, ultimately we really don't have the answers, but what we are seeing is that the nature of reality has everything to do with this. And when we start to get to the point where we realize that maybe we're living in a simulation, that this is possibly a matrix, that even by traditional physics standards, the definition of the universe, the mathematical algorithms that make physical reality work, energy being manifested into the perception of mass, it's a simulation in its most fundamental form. And so it's almost not even debatable anymore. Whether or not we're living in some sort of a simulation that is mechanically and mathematically controlled. And so as we look at these phenomena and we look at the fact that we're living in a reality that literally could be a program, what it tells us is that all of this stuff could be possible. And if you look at the quantum nature of like the double slit experiment, maybe it could be possible and not possible at the same time. And maybe it can be real for one person and not real for another person. And the way we've traditionally dismissed this by saying, well, that person's crazy, might not really be the way we should be looking at this stuff.
These discussions of simulation theory, we've discussed it internally in our organization. And many individuals in our organization, the scientists and the non-scientists, academics and the non-academics, are pointing in that direction. But even more importantly, within these simulation theories, there is a computer operator, okay, someone who coded this language, okay? So again, that gets to this topic of spirituality, of source, okay? That's what our data is pointing towards. A lot of the experiencers, they've been told by this non-human intelligence about the spirit world. They've been brought to the spirit world. They've been told about reincarnation, okay? And all of these complex, fascinating topics. Our book is littered with documentation of people saying that this intelligence guided me towards this, they showed me this, they brought me to these other realities. So they were brought to the computer creator, you know. This, so again, we're talking the same language. Even if you look at the focus within a religious context. When we die, we go to heaven. When we die, we go to source, okay? We're going back to the programmer, okay? And then what happens? We get reincarnated, which is the source is reprogramming it to another reality.
Right.
Okay? So there's no difference in terms of the concepts. It's how you describe it. One is describing it through advanced physics and advanced mathematics, and the other one is describing it through a religious tool. What we're saying in our organization is that we have no really solutions to this, you know, scientific answers to this. But we're saying is to keep your options open, keep an open mind. Our reality is not the material reality that you always thought it was.
Only on MUFON Television and Amazon Prime.